I'm Byron Beck. I'm backstage at the PSU Digital Marketing Conference 2011, and I'm joined by a local hero of mine, a KGW anchor, news anchor.
You make it sound like I saved your life once or something.
I think you did. You've done more than that. You've enriched my life every night on KGW News as the anchor for the 5 and the 11?
5, 6, 10, 11. Yeah.
Wow, you got it.
How much money do I owe you for that?
Not very much, but it sounds like they owe you a lot of money because you have to be on TV a lot.
If I spoke Spanish, I think I'd be on Australia too.
Yeah. We're here at this conference. I'm an MC, you're the big MC, but you're also a social media freak a little bit, right?
Well, I was late to the game. Stephanie Strickland is sort of the social media freak at KGW, but she's the one who sort of opened my eyes to it.
Yeah, can I ask you a few questions about your social media?
Sure.
So are you on Facebook?
You know, that's something I've yet to sort of figure out how it works for me. They just set up a page that you probably know. It's sort of like a fan page.
Yeah.
I don't like it because to me it insinuates that I only want to share what I think people want to know about me when I want it to go both ways, and I don't really think it does.
Exactly. I'm really freaking out about that because I was talking to Wayne Garcia, another local guy who was forced, I think he was forced to do his personal page into a fan page, into a like page, and he said, don't do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm still learning, and to me, Twitter works for me. It's easy, I can engage quickly.
You think in 140 characters?
I think in 140 characters. It must be, it's a soundbite thing. To me, Facebook is just one more thing to maintain, and I'm just not sure I've seen the payoff for it yet, like I have with Twitter.
Now, are you on Google+?
I'm not on Google+.
Stumble upon?
Nope.
Reddit?
Nope.
Okay. Let's talk about how Twitter is changing your life. How is it interacting with on news stories, or how is it interacting with basically your stalkers?
Well, there aren't many of those, which is nice because I think it's opened up a whole new way for people to communicate with. And I'm not saying that we used to be different. People, I think we're a little intimidated by people they saw on TV, but Twitter has really taken that down.
Right.
And it's to me fun to interact with people who have questions about what we're doing and why we're doing it.
As a local personality, do you play by a different set of rules on Twitter than?
I have to be very careful.
Yeah.
I've said before, I would be really fun to follow if I could say what I really thought.
And
but
what's
I
interesting,
so.
your Twitter handle is PDX Peacock, correct?
Right.
Which is kind of dirty.
Is it? I didn't know that.
How many Twitter followers do you have?
A couple thousand.
How is Twitter going to change your future as a news anchor? I know it's a stupid question, but social media, do you see it playing a bigger role in your?
There's no doubt it already has. I told the story quickly at the beginning of the conference about how when the police moved in to raid Occupy Wall Street, I found out about it on Twitter.
Okay.
At 10 minutes till 11, right before our news.
Right.
I got no information from any mainstream media.
Right.
AP Wired, nothing. No one, CNN, NBC. ABC, there were no local reporters there.
But as a local, certified, legitimate journalist, do you sometimes wonder, should I run with that if I?
Oh yeah, and I made it clear.
Okay.
Listen, there are issues, and what almost became the story was that police were holding reporters back.
Right.
CBS had their chopper in the air, and they forced the chopper down.
Right.
So here we had all these people inside, and it was really our only source of information, and I made sure I pointed out the fact that these reports were coming from people on the inside on Twitter. Here's what we're seeing on Twitter. We're even attributing Twitter on the air.
Right.
But when we have no information except what we're hearing from Twitter on the inside, and a lot of it, to me, if you qualify, look, we're not sure how true any of this is, but this is what we're hearing from Twitter.
Right.
We can tell you that reporters are not being allowed in. That turned out to be true.
Yeah.
So a lot of the information, which is what you have to decipher really online these days, the source of the information, where's it coming from, making sure you understand the source before you take it as Bible.
So how I think it's really going to help you in the future, and it's really going to help you, is like you're going to be able to stay home during big snowstorms. You'll just
I can only hope.
right. So you just say, if you want to know what's going on in weather, just go to our Twitter feed on kgw.com, and then think about it. You will never.
People can post their own pictures. Right. Dusting of snow at the Sylvan overpass. I don't like the way you're thinking.
Yeah, I mean, because geez Louise, some days you have to, like, it's scary. Like, the stuff you did with Occupy ate up your whole snow budget, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
Hey, the other thing that really helped was when we had the earthquake and tsunami in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
I told this story, too, at the conference, that people were tweeting me while I was on the air with all kinds of useful information that I would have never had time to try to find on my own. I'm trying to interview people on the air, keeping the coverage going. There were USGS websites that were sent to me that had great information about how powerful the aftershocks were. To me, it was like having 2,000 reporters out there helping me tell the story.
Right. And the last question I have to ask you is, will Twitter ever replace you?
No, but I'm sure somewhere in a college campus there's someone who will replace me in a few years. I think what worried me, I told this story too, that I spoke at a high school journalism conference a couple years ago, and there were maybe 50 people at the old Anchorman's presentation. The session after was online storytelling, and it was full. And I watched that and said, uh-oh. This is where we're going with it, and I think there will always be a need for the local TV news. People will always want to know what's happening in their towns. But what's happening really is that people are changing the way they consume news and information now, and we have to make sure that we're on top of that. I think people will always have that 5 o'clock news tradition, the 11 o'clock news tradition. But how it's delivered and how people consume it is... Someone asked me the other day, do you think journalism is it's a good time to get into journalism? And I said it's an interesting time. Because if you get involved now, you will be a part of what it becomes, because it isn't what it will become just yet, but we're getting close.
So as long as you're on the air, I'll be watching KGW, I promise.
You tell that to all the anchors. You probably told Wayne Garcia that.
No, I don't. Actually, I didn't. I mean, I sometimes watch them at 10, because you're hard to find on 10, because you're on like 32.
32, yeah.
So, and that comes in weird, and it just feels different. But anyways, he's the dude you should watch on the news. And we'll be back.
Thanks for the plug, Byron.
Sure.